Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've decided to not do a proper intro to this video because I've just spent 30 minutes watching parts of this series that I've already watched without realizing it because I'm immensely silly and decided to start with the video that we watched and not realizing it because I wasn't paying attention properly and spent a good 30 minutes making funny hee-hoo jokes that no one will ever see because I'm actually stupid. But you know what I will do is I'll turn that into a Patreon-only blooper reel that people can enjoy on Patreon and watch me slowly lose my mind! But regardless of that fact, we are back with Let's Game It Out's Satisfactory series, so sit back, relax, maybe drop by the Twitch if you feel like it, maybe contemplate my existence by realizing that I'll have to play this game myself because I've just started a donathon and we all agreed that I would play this as my me game whilst I'm in the midst of a donathon. And yeah, why not? Let's actually watch this video and not lose my mind.
Hey there, welcome back to Let's Game It Out.
Guys, we just all make sure
Josh.
this is the actual video
where normal people make awesome streamlined factories, but that's not what I'm going to be doing. Let me catch you up on what I've done already. I did this mess of a conveyor belt system. I also did this even bigger mess of a conveyor belt system. And then I made this tornado out of...
Okay, this is the right video this time. Okay, thank the maker. I gotta be honest. I'm probably not going to try and make the same funny hee-hoo jokes I made in the last couple of attempts I tried in starting this video. So if you missed out on those jokes, oh no, I guess you got to go check out the Patreon. Ha ha ha! Yes, I am monetizing somebody else's video.
Conveyor belts. We can't look right at it.
Although, that being said, as a little bit of a shameless promotion, we will be starting up some anime series. We're going to be starting up Panty and Stocking as a series we're going to be watching. And those are going to be Patreon exclusive initially. So there's a lot of extra benefits to going to my Patreon aside from just seeing my stuff early. So maybe you guys should go check it out if you feel like it. Or just do the thing that you like the best and spend some time with me. Because no matter what, whether you go out of your way to support me on Patreon or not, your time is infinitely more valuable to me. So thank you for always being here with me, guys.
Our frame rate just dies. We have a lot of tiers we can unlock to unlock new kinds of equipment and gear. Last time we also
I love how you unlock my tiers. Watching all of that depravity makes me cry from my eye sockets when I realized I could have spent my day doing something far more productive than seeing the literal schizophrenia-inducing nonsense you give me!
Found a wreckage site, which was kind of cool, so we have these hard drives that we can analyze, which we'll do at some point if I remember. And last we left off, we unlocked being able to use coal power, which is pretty cool because we can drill it.
Something an ADHD person has never said in their life. I remember. An ADHD person is the epitome of in one ear and out the other. They will remember much, but not what they need to remember. Because everything they need to remember is so important that it goes to the back of the mind and then all this other clutter comes out instead.
We can automate sending the
Anyone
coal
with
straight to
ADHD
a power
knows exactly
plant,
what
which
I'm
then
talking
powers
about.
the drill, which then keeps it going. So it's this perpetual powering machine, and we're kind of far away from home base. So we need to figure out how to get all this coal back.
What you need to figure out is how to get your FPS jacked up.
So let's see what we can do. I've got some ideas.
You know when he's near the tower because his FPS goes below 10.
I'm just gonna keep clicking until I find a spot that works. There we go. There we go.
Trial and error.
While we work on getting the coal
101.
sorted out, let's also make sure to keep upgrading this guy. Now we're gonna upgrade to improved melee combat. That does allow us to buy this now.
This is a building game. Why would you need
see what
combat?
our new melee weapon looks like. Oh, look at that, huh? Ooh, jeez. Can't wait to beat up some wild...
Warframe would like their corpus design back. This would be called something like the Blatonizer. The Corpus Blaton.
Life with this thing. All right, so I've gone ahead and connected a conveyor belt here that goes ahead and sends this all the way home. Let me give you the quick tour. It really couldn't be more simple. You know, you just follow this down. We had to give it a nice gradual slope. Wouldn't be us if there weren't at least a couple of turns. Eventually, the coal takes you down this level.
Like, realistically, you gotta think about it this way. If Let's Game It Out puts down a conveyor belt and it has only 25% of its entire length of conveyor belt being made up of unnecessary loops and roundabouts and unnecessary dips and bumps, then really, it's not what you'd expect out of a Let's Game It Out conveyor belt.
Lovely pathway to what I like to call the conveyor weave.
So you know that 25% I said a second ago? Yeah, how about 100% of this conveyor belt being unnecessary? In one instance, you sit there going, my God, you psychopath, what is wrong with you? And then in the same sitting, you have to sit there and go, my God, he's actually a god-tier architect. Because it must take some level of architectural know-how to make something that is so spectacularly chaotic that simultaneously makes you want to lose your lunch and make you angry, but also make you go, wow, that's pretty good.
Beautiful,
What is that?
interwoven masterpiece. Let's do a quick tour
I
so we can
don't
see
even
all
wanna
of the
question
features
how
of
long
the
it took him to
weave.
make
First,
this.
Nicole's gonna go through each and every one of these, and once it completes its journey, God knows how long that's gonna take. It's only on the second little row. It's gotta go through all of this. Eventually, the Nicole reaches its landing point, which is right here, and then all we need to do is follow this beautiful little conveyor belt.
You know what? Somebody just said it's making them hungry. I understand why. It looks like the top of an apple pie.
We're gonna replace all of our biomass burners, which at this point I think we have like 6 or 7 of them. We're gonna replace those with coal generators, so we need to create the split.
Yeah, because if you're not terraforming the environment, you're polluting the environment. Why would we want to burn biomass when we can just pollute the environment?
System
Logic.
So each one gets enough coal, but also so we can separate coal and use it for other
Some people want to be
crafting. First things
conservative
first is
with
one
their
conveyor
pollution.
Splitter. Put that right
Why
about
bother?
there.
Why
We're
even
actually gonna have a second
pretend
one
like
too,
you want to be
which we'll put a
conservative?
little further down
Like, the entire point of
here,
Satisfactory
and
is
we'll connect
to
this one first. We're gonna put another splitter
terraform
right
the
over
planet
here, face
into
it
a
out
machine
like
for
that.
your
Connect the
benefit.
conveyor belt from here to
So
here,
even
and we're gonna set up
pretending like
3
you're
coal
being
generators
preservative
right
of
here.
the environment
1 and
is more of
2
a lie
and
to yourself.
3.
You're
There we
gaslighting
go.
yourself.
Set this conveyor belt to go all the way over to this
I mean, look at those
guy,
beautiful
because
power
once
plots.
again, we're just
Think
not
of
normal.
all the
Great.
beautiful
so each
power
one of these
they'll
guys,
make.
in theory, is going to be able to get a little bit of power. That's the hope anyway. The last thing on tier 4 that we can unlock is Logistics Mark 3, which is going to require us to make motors, which is somewhat more complex if we want to automate it. We would need to take our rotors, which are already being made, and we also need to connect them to state.
You've got to get that rotor in a motor. That way you can get that boater with your crota and get your quota all kinds of filled up. Yeah, rhyming.
To make stators, we need to make steel pipes.
Exactly.
And to make steel
Thank
pipes,
you,
we just
Skeleton.
need steel
Somebody
ingots.
tried to say it.
Steel ingots
What
are made
is
with
pollution
iron ore
but
and
violent
coal. So pretty
terraforming?
much we need to have
Exactly.
a machine that's going to combine
Just-
iron ore and coal.
Like, you cannot deny. You either have... It is literally a binary solution. You are either a conservationist that wants to preserve the environment, at which point you go all out on that, or you are a polluting mother trucker that wants the power of industry to be your prominent feature. Going a middle ground is a self-defeating, narcissistic sentiment saying that you're not willing to commit to one side. You are both unoptimal and lying to yourself. So either go full cock or not at all. Go full cock or not at all. Quote me on that. Full cock or not at all.
We're going to need a machine that takes those steel ingots and turns them into steel pipe, and then that steel pipe is going to have to be fed into a machine that's also making wire to then make the stators, and then we're going to have to send the stators to the same place that's making our rotors, and those together will make the motors. So let's get started.
Like, unironically, the first episode I watched of this, I was just watching it for the memes. Unironically, I am now watching this to try and pick up notes for when I start playing myself. Because I am scared of playing this, right? I am not good at games that require focus. I have horrifying ADHD. But now that the imminent, like, it's one of those moments where it's like, I don't have to worry about playing Satisfactory for ages. Like, a couple months ago when we started this, it's like, worrying about the intricacy of Satisfactory, that's a future Makari problem. Well, lo and behold, my hubris, I am now future Kari, and I am living in the pain of my decisions.
It shouldn't be that hard. We also have to give the space elevator some stuff, including some motors as well as some modular frames. Modular frames we don't quite have 500 of, but it shouldn't be too hard to make. After all, to make modular frames, all we have to do is combine reinforced iron plate and iron rods, which we can also automate.
Okay,
you know what I almost
understand
forgot
rods.
about? Those
I'm very
hard
good at handling
drives.
rods.
Here, have a hard drive. Start analyzing that. Tell me something amazing.
Does it
The
have porn in
analysis
it?
of the hard drive is completed. No new research is available. Try again later after further progress.
Hey, before the video goes any further, I just want to let you know that we have a Patreon, where you can support me, the fantabulous Makari, and get awesome perks for it, such as behind-the-scenes footage, early access, patron-exclusive reactionaries, and voting on future content, and so much more. Or heck, you can even just follow for free to get updates on all the goings-on within the Kari Mansion. With all that being said, thank you very much for listening, and please, enjoy the video.
Your NA has been returned to you. But then it offers me this stuff. It offers me like an alternate blueprint. How about this one? This looks good. Because we're gonna need iron ore, which is currently coming out here, we're just gonna use this little splitter right here and pull some of the...
I find Satisfactory to be an epitome depiction of futility. You go through all of this process of progressing your tech tree, building your factory, building your industry, all for the intent and purpose of just leaving the planet and ultimately just losing everything you started with. Sure, you have the knowledge and the delights of knowing you built an entire industry and ruined a planet's geological and horticultural environment. What? Really, at the end of the day, you die, it'll die, and all of your efforts will go to waste.
The iron ore out to use over on our other machine. Because this miner only pulls out this ore so fast, and then it's split 3 different ways, which means none of them are really getting enough ore.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I suppose it's not necessarily futile if you enjoyed polluting and destroying a planet for your own benefit.
Now we put the new miner marks.
Don't worry, guys. Today on the Kari Show, we are rationalizing global pollution for the act of the He-Who's. Because if you're having fun, if you're polluting the planet, the only thing that matters is that you had fun doing it.
To right where it was.
That'll be on my doctrine.
And we reconnect the conveyor belt. Look at that. That's much better. Like, it's not perfect, but at least everything's getting a little bit more. Oh my god, the coal finally showed up. Look at this. Oh my god. So I timed
it only took
the coal to get all the way from the...
Jesus Christ. And I thought that the conveyor tornado was a bit of a CPU hog. Holy smokes, dude!
Beginning to the end. It takes
Jesus
3 hours. We better not make some changes
crackers.
on the starting side. Remember how I said the conveyor belt cyclone you can't look at without the frame rate dying? Well, we're running out of places to go where that's not the case. Oh, there's a beautiful sight. Not only do we have the conveyor belt, but we have
I love the fact that the actual canon lore of this entire series is that the developers had to optimize the game to make sure this series ran without a hitch. Like, eventually he reached a critical mass of bullshit where he couldn't actually play the game unless they physically updated the game to run more optimally. That is such a wild timeline.
the vortex in the background. I'm surprised my computer isn't literally on fire right now. Look at my guy's hands. It's just 2 frames of animation going back and forth going, ah! This seems like a good idea, right? Surely the vehicle's not gonna have a problem. Can we ride on this? Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna use this as our 1 frame per second tour vehicle. Well, to nobody's surprise, we're stuck. Oh yeah, this is fantastic. Everything's getting...
What did you expect, dude? You know, this is the... I said that I was having hubris in this moment. Really, this is the ultimate depiction of hubris. I thought I was having hubris with the consequence of my actions for saying that I would play this game and then having anxiety about playing this game. This man literally built a cyclone tower of conveyor belts that tanked his FPS. And rather than learning from that and living in the hubris of making 1 terrible life choice, he's now made 2! And is wondering why he's running out of CPU power.
Plenty of power. And now right here where the iron ore and the coal is coming out, we're gonna put a foundry. Ta-da! And we'll connect that there, connect that there. Great. And we'll configure the machine, of course, to make steel ingots. Yep, there they are. And now we're gonna put a constructor right here and run the foundry.
Now, the real question is, do you think he's learned his lesson, or is he gonna make another CPU monster? Oh, who are we kidding? This is LGO. Of course he's gonna make another monster. The real question is, are the devs going to have time to react to this and optimize the game before he does it? That's the real question.
To the constructor and set this guy to make steel pipe. And for now, we're gonna have our steel
pipe
eventually
just go into
he's
gonna do this so much that it'll be in the negative frame rate, and he'll be
why we're back over here, where we're gonna run a conveyor belt all the way over to where it was. This game really wants you to do stuff vertically,
you ain't got enough
which I totally get, but I like the idea
game
of just
won't
making
run. It's
something
gonna
as
start
messy
going
as
backwards in
possible.
time, you know, mate?
Right? So now we have our copper wire on its way. Now we're gonna throw down an assembler. Looks beautiful as always. Crissy-crossy the conveyor belts like that. Not a prerequisite, at least not for most. For me, it is. Watch as the pipes and the wires crisscross all excitedly, and we're gonna...
Why? Oh man, this is literally what an ADHD trigger warning looks like. You got the conveyor belt going over itself unoptimally. You got the things on the bottom clipping into itself. Make it uniform, please! I'm so angry.
And we're gonna tell this machine to make stators. And there they are. Would you look at that? And the last glorious step for making motors is we need to connect this with the machine that's making
you'll have to take
our
a
rotors.
loan of
so
frames.
This container here has our rotors.
I'm sorry.
We'll just
You don't
run
have
it
enough
over
frames.
here.
Have you considered taking out a small loan to get some
Now
frames?
we've got the rotors and the stators right next to each other. We gotta put the one thing into the hole for the other thing, which is gonna involve yet another assembler right there. Little crissy-crossy later. Everything's going into the places where they're supposed to go, and we'll set this machine to make
just
motors.
put them on the
And there we
relevant
go.
side.
We've got motors coming out. We made a motor baby, and they'll just collect in there until we have 500 million zillion of them. And the whole thing is automated. We don't have to do a thing. This will pretty much just go forever. There is another machine we need to make that will automatically make these modular frames, which is reinforced iron plate.
Me talking about the act of futility, you know what is really the act of futility? Me complaining about it, because the only thing more futile than what he's doing is my futility in wanting something better out of him.
And iron rods. We're gonna do something similar.
Goodbye,
like we
thanks for that
just did.
resub.
We're gonna
I need
go
to
over
find my
where we
luck.
have
Thanks,
our
I'm
iron
very
rods
professional.
coming out. We're gonna split it out. We're gonna have it aimed next to the thing that's making the enforced
Thank you,
plating.
Bard.
So way
Get
over
your
here
fuck,
we have
please.
our reinforced iron plate, and this is the wildly convoluted place where we have a bunch of rods coming in and out of.
Okay, look. LGO, you actively saying that something is convoluted seems a little bit derivative, because your entire complex is convoluted. You saying convoluted, a normal person, when they say something is convoluted, is a way to say it's detractive from the normality of things. You saying something's convoluted is completely hypocritical because everything you make is convoluted, which means it's your normality. God!
Of nowhere. So we're just gonna split off from here, and as always put an assembler back here. There we go. So we've got reinforced plating coming out there, we've got rods coming out there, we've got this beautiful cyclone in the background
Jesus
as always.
Christ.
And yes, I know I could have had this all go in a straight line, but where's the fun in that? Now we're gonna tell this thing to make modular
where's the
frames.
fun in
We're
going
gonna
straight,
put another storage
guys?
container
Just
up
make
here
it
that we're gonna
wonky
feed
like my
everything back
sexuality.
into. Can't have it getting too far away from me. I don't want to run a marathon just to find all my supplies. We now have enough stuff to unlock Logistics Mark III, so let's definitely do that. 1, 2, 3, launch. Pretty exciting. We have bigger storage containers, but
1, 2, you're gonna buckle my shoe. 3, 4, LGO's knocking at your door. 5, 6, please put me in the sticks. I can't stand this frustration. Ah!
But most exciting is we have Conveyor Belt Mark III. Conveyor Belt Mark I
This
transports
man is an
60
agent of
resources
chaos,
per
and I
minute,
hate
but
him.
Mark III does a
My
blazing
ADHD looks at this
270.
and
You know
goes,
what? These
no,
coal plants are
please.
so awesome,
Why
and I have
can't
so
you
much extra
organize
coal.
your
I'm gonna go ahead and build 3 more
conveyor
plants right behind it. Let's put it right about there and there.
Ahem. In the words of a certain vampire,
Your conveyor belts are bullshit. You know it. Your conveyor belts are bullshit. I'm gonna take the biggest fucking cannon I've got over here, and I'm gonna blow the fuck out of every single one of your goddamn conveyor belts until you put them in a goddamn line. You hear me?
And there. And I'm gonna remove this guy here. And I'm gonna have
a
one
bitch that loves
splitter
cannons.
here. And then
Because
those
bitches
splitters
love
are gonna
cannons.
split to there. This one will go like that. And this will connect to that. So I've added a splitter here. And one side goes over here, splits 3 ways, goes to these front guys.
Give yourself
And
out,
this
please.
one will head into the back here, where there's gonna be another splitter and split 3 ways going into the 3 machines back here. Now that we have all the coal power plants that take care of themselves, we can get rid of these biomass burners because they require us to keep refilling them, and we don't need to deal with that anymore. So I feel like one of my choke points is how quick
hey, LGO, you may not have to deal with that because it's an annoyance to you. I wish I could say that about you because your goddamn conveyor belts are an annoyance to me, and I'm trying to watch this and to enjoy myself, but instead I'm putting up with your bullshit!
quickly the screws can come out of this machine. I kind of want to see what happens if we replace this conveyor belt with the Mark III. So let's get
Hey, LGO, can you do me a favor? Instead of replaying it with the Mark III, how about you replace your entire factory line with something that makes sense? Oh, you know, I realize that this is my futility in trying to convince myself he's gonna do stuff that doesn't frustrate me. I just gotta roll with it. We gotta roll with it. If I, at any point, start getting worked up about how annoying this all is, just remind me. We gotta run with it. This is my litmus test as to how much bullshit I can put up with.
Rid of the Mark 1. Let's connect the Mark 3. Whoa! Oh my god. Wow, that's not screwing around. All right, you get with the times. You're slowing everything down here. I mean, how much is
And now your conveyor belts are...
I can't
So
even
now
run
your
up these
conveyor belts are not
belts
only a
now.
mess,
They just pull you
but they're
down.
fast
That's fantastic.
and a mess.
While we wait, let's not forget to make everything the proper color. All we're really waiting on right now is to gather as much stuff as we need to shove it into the space elevator. But that's no excuse to not have everything be color coordinated. What about you? Can I color you? No? We'll be back. Oh boy, the time has finally come. Took a little while, but we got it.
Lest we forget that this is very orc coded.
Hey, boss, why does red make things go faster? Well, actually, it's purple that makes things go faster. I thought purple was invisible.
Our 500 modular frames and our 150 motors. So let's just pile all this crap in here and see what happens. All right, we got all of our supplies in. Now let's go from load to seal. There it goes. Okay, is it secure now? Can I send it? Okay. Bye. Have fun in space. Let me know if you can see the vortex from there. All right, well, that felt good. What now? Unavailable in early access, damn it.
Oh.
So launching that stuff into orbit has unlocked new tiers, which gives us some pretty exciting new stuff. My god. Wow, this gets real. And an even...
You know, I've never been more envious of stuff being jettisoned into space. Because at least that stuff that's been jettisoned into space is getting away from this psyop of a facility.
bigger truck, be still my heart. Oh my god, and a Mark IV conveyor belt? Well, and oh my god, a jetpack. Well, that's been a lot of fun. I've got some ideas for how we can top and weave. So thanks for watching. Head on back for more Satisfactory soon, and I will see you
we're gonna go straight into the second video. I think I mentioned in one of the last ones that we're gonna watch 2 videos at a time until we get to some of the more recent ones.
Hey there, this
so
is Josh.
let's go
Welcome
straight
back
into the next
Let's
one.
Game It Out. Oh boy, it's time.
Sophie! Thank you so much for the raid. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do when we get raided. Litmus test time. Let's make sure everyone's ready for my level of bullshit.
Yar! I wonder what's on the sea. This is Russia.
This is Russia. Танки валят по площади. Предно забот рабочий класс. На каждого брата по 205. Тактический бой.
Happens when the predator becomes the Oh, fuck! I wasn't finished, wicked Joe!
This is Russia. This is Russia. Самая стенка висит ковер. Сиги есть, а если найду? В моем кармане последний iPhone, но нету денег на еду. Золото, нефть, ракеты, сталь. Все это здесь, но только не наше. Никто не посадит тебя за кражу. Если ты Путин, это Раша. Его с утра залечит раны лучше, чем доктор Айболит. Во двор упал метеорит, но его никто не заметил даже. Сталина бюст в углу на страже. Hello,
Thank you so much for the raid, Sophie. I hope you had an amazing stream. If you guys are new, my name is Makari, and I am a problem. And we're watching stuff for YouTube. Join me if you want to, or don't. It's up to you. What were you doing? How was your stream? What are you guys up to? Brain rot. What do you mean more brain rot? I'd say more professionally produced. I say, you say brain rot? I say, wider scope of breadth. Yeah, you know, it's one of those moments of ambition, you know? I've taken to the stars. We've dialed things up to 11, sort of thing. Rated to Gamescom board. Oh shit, nice. Was there anything you saw that you were really excited for? We watched Gamescom stuff at the beginning of the stream today as well. No, appreciate it. Also, Jade, thank you for the resub, darling. Appreciate it. Secure anime. Oh, it's so good though, right? There was a few things from the Gamescom that was pretty damn interesting. Either way, I know that a bunch of you guys are probably tired from this hanging out with Sophie. So if you guys got to go do your own thing for the rest of the day, I know that my level of bullshit is not everyone's cup of tea. So if you guys got to go do anything, that's totally understandable. But for those who do stick around, we are watching some LGO stuff. So if you want to vibe with this level of chaos, then chaos meets chaos. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Time for more Satisfactory. Here's a quick recap. Satisfactory is a beautiful game where you get to build efficient factories. Or in my case,
Correction. Correction. Satisfactory is a beautiful game where you get to build beautifully organized factories when you're a normal person. When you're LGO, you get to make factories that are completely conducive to my loss of sanity and end up being more of a... What's the word? Cognito hazard. Yes, more of a cognito hazard than anything else. Either that or a hazard to your CPU. One of the two.
Total opposite of that. First, I built this conveyor belt system, and then I built it again, bigger and in the air. Then we built a tornado version of this. So if you
Damn, look at that bad boy.
It destroys your frame rate. And then after that, we set a new record in inefficiency and built the conveyor
Again,
weave. For the record,
it's impressive.
all of these machines work. Like the weave
Very
here is supposed to
impressive.
deliver coal.
I
and it
wouldn't be able to
totally
make any of
does
this stuff.
that.
I wouldn't
I've
have the
timed
patience
it.
to.
It takes about 3 hours
I'd get halfway
to do what
through it
could
and then
be
lose
done
my
in about
goddamn
30
mind.
seconds. Oh, and I did get a couple of people asking in the comments how long it took to build the weave. The answer there is about 5 hours. So I guess I should have said that other people
yeah,
are
it is,
out there
Sophie.
making awesome, efficient
Finally.
factories. And we're just making
All going
abomination
ahead.
after abomination over here. And also I had a couple people that were very disappointed that I had all 6 of my coal factories in like a line like this, all orderly. They want me to do it a little more chaotic, so we're gonna fix.
Why are people encouraging him? Why are people nurturing the chaos? He had one bastion of originality. He had one bastion of cohesion and organized area. And everyone's like, no, it needs to be chaos. It needs to be one over there, one upside down, one on its side, and one that has no conveyor belts in it whatsoever that you build for no reason other than being a goddamn paperweight. I hate it. I
Fix
hate
that
it.
right now. Here you go. Is this what you wanted? Is this a better configuration for the coal generators? I call it the...
I've seen university dormitories that are less cluttered than this bollocks.
coal generator tree. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and handle some of the other duties here. We have tiers 5 and tier 6. Each one of these has a milestone cost that we have to fulfill. The good news is that because it took this weave so freaking long to make, I actually have all the materials already. For example, motors are a big thing we're gonna need. We have motors really for the rest of our lives.
So that's where all the motors from Ever Given went. You know, the Ever Given, the boat that got stuck in the Egyptian canal. Yeah, that's where Ford was missing all their motors from.
So here you go, oil processing.
Ever Given
Take
was
all these
actually a
supplies and
inside job.
launch. For reasons unknown to me, because I probably just didn't pay attention, every time you achieve a milestone, it launches stuff into space. I like to believe we're just paying homage to the sky gods. And industrial
Yes, it
manufacturing
did,
needs
Sophie.
a quick bunch
Ever
of
given,
resources,
ever
and then we
taken
just
away.
go ahead and slam that launch button. Tier 6, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make a couple of these things. I've never made a heavy
You know, it must be said, though, it is very impressive that as chaotically made as this entire facility is, the fact that it all works is even more impressive.
modular frame before, or a computer actually. Shouldn't be too hard. Building a computer requires us to build some stuff we've never built before, including circuit boards and plastic. Plastic looks like it's gonna require
Yes.
oil. But
Now the final boss of any global platform of pollution. Microplastics. I, for one, want to believe that by the year of 2090, we will all be at least 20% microplastics. I mean, look at my hair. I am literally living goo. I am one step away from being literally living microplastics myself.
cool, because now we have access to the oil pump and oil refinery. These require those heavy modular frame things, which here they are. I have all this stuff actually. I've got the modular frames for sure. I've got tons of steel pipe. Encased industrial beam. Well, would you look at this? These encased industrial beams are so easy to make and I have so many supplies. I'm just gonna make them by hand. You're welcome. Got 'em.
LGO making something by hand rather than... LGO, I have to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed. Up until now, every time you've had a simple problem, you always choose the most convoluted answer. The fact that he didn't go out of his way to make one of the most convoluted conveyor belt labyrinths to make these very simple items is actually just so disappointing. Why did he not do something obtuse here?
I'm just over here crafting stuff for these modular frames, and I just kind of look over and I see this, and I'm like, oh, what's happening over here? Oh, it's just my...
Ah, yes. The generators have come home to roost. Here we see the wild arboreal generators nesting in their natural habitats on the side of a frickin' cliff. Just like how my sanity is perched on the side of a cliff, ready to jump off into an abyss of psychological trauma! I'm fine. I'm fine.
My power plants, no big deal. Okay, so I made my heavy modular frames. That didn't take too long to make them by hand. Let's go see if we can find some...
You wanna know what? And to anyone that raided in from Sophie's stream, by the way, the only thing that affected my sanity more than this is when I recently started doing Twitch integrated D&D. So for those who don't know, I'm opening a studio. And I already have some staff members on payroll. One of these things that we are setting up is Twitch integrated text-to-speech and certain other elements. One of those things led me to do a D&D campaign live on stream. And this is how it went. In front of you, a monkey, a very curious monkey, sort of walks out from amidst the bushes and looks at you.
I cast Fireball. Don't bare your teeth.
You cast
just
fire.
in
You
case.
don't have Fireball. Did you even read your stat sheet?
I cast Divine Wrath.
You cast Divine Wrath on the monkey. The monkey catches on fire. You committed a war crime. For what reason?
Well, you just f***ed us over.
Well, this is the joy about making decisions. So, does anyone else want to do anything in this moment?
I eat some of the monkey flesh.
You walk up to the flame-grilled monkey, and you, like an absolute heathen, tear away flesh from its body. I told you that the cleric was a bit of a freak.
WHYYYYYY.
And I being apparently the only normal individual peek through the bushes.
You and I are very normal compared to this.
Would you like? Chat comes along and like, oh my goodness, what have you been doing? Is that a char-grilled monkey? Did you burn the local wildlife? What is wrong with you? Oh boy, you might have committed monkeyicide, but you know what? It's nutritious, and monkey meat is meat. You regenerate 1 HP. You're back up to full. Congratulations. So what we really learned from that is the one thing that affects me more psychologically than seeing this level of unhinged bollocks is the kind of unhinged bollocks that chat gets up to.
some oil, which we can scan for now. Ta-da! All we need to do is wait for the thing to return with, oh god, is there no oil anywhere? Where's that dinosaur blood? I need it. Ah, there we go. It's only a mere 2,000 meters away. If I convert that from the metric system,
a mere
I'm pretty
2,000
sure that
meters
means it's
away.
only about
Sounds like a
300
perfect
miles
opportunity
away. So
for
this should
obtuse
pass
and
by. Wait,
obnoxiously
what is
convoluted
this?
conveyor
Wow, this journey's
belts.
already amazing. Doesn't it look kind of like that S that we all drew in middle
Oh my
school?
god, it
Pick up
does.
Summer sloop work in progress. That's what I like to see. Of course I'm gonna collect it. Strange alien thing with a mind bending and somehow familiar shape. Analyzing this will not give you
That's self-aware.
anything. Well, then I'm gonna hold on to it and give it to somebody for Valentine's Day. We're going into some weird exotic places now on the way to find, oh, this looks dangerous. I don't know if I was really prepared for all this, but we're gonna do it anyway. Isn't there something I can
Good thing you upgraded your melee deep damage.
like eat around here?
Have you
What's this?
considered gun?
Oh, cool. It's like a bacon mushroom. Nummy, nummy, nummy.
You say mushroom, I say... I'm not gonna say what I thought I was gonna say.
Bacon mushroom. Nummy, nummy, num. Don't mind me, nature. I'm just coming through on my way to extract oil. You don't mind if I build an elaborate conveyor belt system in here later, do you? Wow, this is quite the treacherous journey to get oil.
He says he's gaslighting by saying elaborate. What he really means is mind-numbing.
Why does all of nature want to kill me? Good God, this is the direction.
Gee, it's almost like you're purposely polluting their entire planet. No, okay, the animals don't want to kill you because they're offended by your presence and upset that you're invading their habitat. No. They're trying to kill you because they've seen the mess of your conveyor belts and they won't stop hunting you until you neaten them up. Just saying.
To the oil? How is this the same planet I was just on? Well, I did it. We're here. I found the oil site. I'm just gonna walk around in it for a while to show my victory against nature. Okay, well, this oil isn't just for looking at. Let's build something. Just go ahead and put this, and we have ourselves an oil pump. I feel like I'm ruining the environment already. Oh, crap. Power. These are things I didn't think about. Wait a minute. Does this stuff all just come out on a conveyor belt? Well, I'm not against running a conveyor belt all the way back home. I think we know what we need to do, and that's start building.
I can only picture in my mind the level of obnoxiousness this is going to end up being.
The conveyor belt. Not even intelligently. We're just gonna take this as far as we can go. Good news, everybody. We can build conveyor belts right into the water. Oh, fiddlesticks, we've run out of material. Okay, I ran all 9 million miles
what a
home.
British
Let's
saying.
suit back up, run some power lines,
Oh,
get that oil
fiddlesticks.
extracted,
Oh,
and then let's
dratting
never
bother at
go
all.
back there ever again. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there. When you build your power lines in the water, we want to make sure as much wildlife as possible gets close to...
Oh, wait a minute. OSHA doesn't like that. OSHA's saying that electricity and water don't mix. Yeah, well, fuck OSHA. You know what? OSHA can suck my... We're gonna build those power lines in the water because we don't give a damn.
touching these things. All right, step one's complete. We managed to run a power line all the way through to, uh-oh, it's already going. Yep, look, here they go, right underwater. I guess that makes sense. NBD. And wouldn't you know, we're almost back home. I can tell because I can see the tornado and my frame rate's dying. You know, I know the perfect place to have this oil go to. I think it probably behooves us to have the oil closer and closer to home base. Easy. Don't look.
Oh boy, as if the conveyor belt tornado wasn't a monster as it was.
Directly at it. All right, I found a good place for my oil refinery. Ta-da! No, not the tornado, silly. In the tornado. That's right, delicately wrapped in 8 million zillion jillion tons of conveyor belts is our oil refinery. So first we...
America heard that you had oil, but you had the one defense that could protect you from America's interests in your oil. The inability to even get close without tanking your frames. They can't defend themselves when they can't even perceive what is they're trying to invade.
God, the frame rates. All right, so it couldn't be simpler. Oil goes in there. No. How far am I falling? Okay. Still alive. Such a nightmare trying to work.
So what's your FPS like? On my setup, it's like 60 FPS. Oh, yours is about 30? Oh, my FPS is usually 2 frames whenever.
In here. Okay, let's configure the oil refinery. What's going on with... Oh god, I didn't realize that you have to tell it to do 3 specific types of things. Okay, it's settled. We're building 3 oil refineries in here because I never want to come in here again. You know, I'm glad we managed to get all 3 factories in there, but it looks a little, unkempt. But don't worry, I think I know how to fix this. Okay, so I think I've fixed the problem.
You put a lid on it, didn't you?
Trying to get a good vantage point so I can show it off all proper like. I present to you the conveyor belt cocoon. There are
You know what that looks like? It looks like the logo for No Man's Sky. This could be considered fan art for a game studio. In fact, I'm honestly kind of disappointed that the people who made Satisfactory didn't use this and change their entire, branding to this logo. Also, I really, really hate that my ADHD is looking at this massive monstrosity that took hours to make. And the only thing I can really see is this one tiny little bit that didn't get put in correctly. And you might be thinking that this was by accident. No! I absolutely guarantee you, he did this on purpose, like the megalomaniac that he is, knowing full well that everything else is perfectly uniform, except for that one little bit!
3 oil refineries in there just waiting to do some processing. Hey, can you imagine the game running worse than it did before? Because guess what? It does. Like, a lot worse. When I first fired this game up, it was like a beautiful 60 frames a second. And now it's like I'm in a constant state of having an aneurysm. So that's not all. I actually haven't flipped the switch yet. Pretty busy inside.
I wonder by what episode it'll be when the developers have heard of this and decided to change the game and optimize it to make this run smoothly. Like, 'cause if I'm not mistaken, right, they actively did use this as a basis for how to optimize the game. Like, this man, everyone, like, up until this point, no one had been this unhinged enough to go against the grain of how this game plays. And then this man comes along and, like, you know what? I see your game. I'm gonna break it. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna go against, I'm gonna take a note out of LGO's books, and I'm gonna make my playthrough of this game into a chaos playthrough. Because Feg making anything that makes sense.
This cocoon. We have lots of materials going in and out here, but we have one last thing we need to bridge if I can get up to it, because if the frame rate wasn't tanking hard enough, what I'm about to do will probably just make it worse. Right now I'm scaling the first half of the cocoon. See that little opening right there? That's what I'm gonna bridge. Here's a nice view of the inside here, running at a very spectacular less than 1 frame per second. So we're just gonna close this gap right here. Here we go. Now the oil is going freely. It's gonna go all the way around. Did the barrels make it? Because I can't see them, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. Once the materials finally all come out of here.
So how did they solve this, like, issue? Did they just, like, de-render things from a certain distance? Did they, like, reduce the rendering load? What was it that fixed this? Because I can imagine there was a few potential solutions to this.
Which is rubber, I think gasoline, and plastic.
Yeah, dude, could you imagine it being his computer at the moment? Like, his computer going, kill me! Please, for the love of God, kill me!
Non-biodegradable kind. I send all the conveyor belts right into the space elevator just to show it who's boss. While the cocoon does its thing, I need to get as far away from it as
you know
possible.
what? If this video does well enough, after we're done watching this entire series, we'll also do an additional video of watching the devs react to
frames
it.
aren't too hard. We pretty much have all the parts we need.
So let's just say if each video gets about 5,000 views, 10,000 views, thereabouts, we'll also watch the devs react.
Computers are going to be the more complicated one. Cable, plastic, and screws are pretty easy to come by, but we're also going to have to make circuit boards. And circuit boards require...
Hold on, let me have a look second. Oh, shoot, okay. Yeah, so this game... So the devs of the original game reacted to this. Okay, yeah, I'm going to say it's with certainty. If this series keeps doing well, by the end of the series, we will come back and watch the devs reacting to it. I think that'll be a really good way of rounding it out, because then we'll have the experience of watching the entire thing, and then we can watch this man slowly lose his mind as to how somebody ruined his game.
Plastic and wire. All of this not really all that hard. We just need to make the machines to do it. And I think I might know just the place to settle this stuff up. It's nice and far away from the cocoon, but blissfully close to the weave. I guess so long as my frame rate isn't safe anywhere.
Because I'm assuming that at least at some point in this video, there must have been a point where they updated the game to make it more optimal.
I never thought I'd be happy to see the weave. I'm just like, oh man, look at all these frames I've got now. Actually, no, it's still really bad here. Right? So let me show you a little bit of what I did here. I've got my coal being mined here. Goes into this splitter here, goes into one coal generator here. This coal...
I legitimately think there's an internal clock inside of LGO's brain that actively counts down until the next act of chaos. And whenever that next act of chaos arrives, it's like a spectrum, like a line of sorts. And wherever that gotcha line ends up landing on is how chaotic his next project will be.
Coal gets a nice, beautiful scenic
we can
view
only
of the
pray
before going
that
into
it's
this
the lower
splitter
end of the
and going
spectrum.
into
Because if it
another
goes
coal
full end of the
generator that
spectrum, we get
Meanwhile,
a
this big
conveyor
pile
belt
of coal goes on
tornado.
a magical wild ride. The coal eventually goes
Conveyor
into this
belt
foundry.
too,
This guy over
electrically.
here is mining iron ore, which is also being fed into the foundry, where it's making steel ingots. Steel ingots pop out and head over into this machine, where it's making steel beams. Some of the steel ingots also go a different direction and head over to this constructor that's making steel pipe. I also set up a guy here that's mining limestone, which turns into concrete, which gets fed into this assembler along with the pipes to make an alternate...
What I'm more surprised about is I'm basically watching the equivalent of a YouTube instructional video, and I'm not bored. And it's not voiced by an Indian man.
recipe I have to make encased steel beams, at which point my beautiful encased steel beams pop out of this machine and collects them in this storage unit that I'm standing on top of. To make our heavy modular frames, we're gonna shove everything into this device called the manufacturer, a big beautiful hulking beast.
Yes,
place way
nothing
out
like
of the
a bit
way
of manufacturing to help
First one
adding to the
connect is
pollution.
gonna be the modular frames. Next we have our steel pipe.
Oh, dude, okay, wait a minute, come on.
Hey, for no reason. First one to connect.
Why are you like this? I know we were literally just talking about the act of futility, but I'm sorry. Who looks at this organization and thinks to themselves, okay, so we got the conveyor belt coming in from here. You know, conveyor belt coming in from here. It could go anywhere. It could go anywhere. Could go anywhere. You know, the normal thing would be to get it come in here and go straight to the thing, you know, like a normal person. Or you would maybe move this around here so it's facing this way, so you can get that linear thing going from there to there. But no, instead, it's down here, over here, up here, and honestly, the video.
Next is going to be the modular frames. Next, we have our steel pipe and our industrial beams here. And last but not least, screws. Now that I've got everything plugged in
Screws. Screw you.
to the manufacturer here, let's configure it to make the heavy modular frames. While this madness is going on, let's go ahead and set up our thing to make the computer.
It's like looking at a cat that vomited up spaghetti. Or a cat with a tapeworm coming out of its butthole.
Going on, let's go ahead and set up our thing to make the computers. If this is where that factory is right there, we're gonna build it way the hell out here on this mysterious little mesa here, which is clearly poisonous. This is probably their defense mechanism, so we don't bother them, which means we're gonna bother them as much as we possibly can with a giant hulking machine.
As is the way of the mind of
me. This thing is gonna be built right here. All right, flee before we die. I don't care that I died. The factory will live on.
Death is but a minor inconvenience between the powers of making
the way we have to
pollution.
build these computers is to combine these four things down
It looks
below.
like British
so that's
food.
Circuit boards,
Nah, too much
cable,
seasoning.
plastic, and screws. All the building blocks to make a sick rig. Before we can just feed all of that into this machine over here, we're gonna have to build some
My rigger.
other factories so that we can. After all, those circuit boards aren't just gonna make themselves. Circuit boards are just wire and plastic. Something kinda easy. Imagine my joy. Oh, it's more of you guys. Well, I know where I'm gonna build my next factory. We just need to grab some plastic from the land of the slideshow over here. And then we'll send that plastic right over here into the poison. You know, the first screwed up factory I made was wire. So we're gonna go back to the source and pull some wire from over there. And also, seeing how nothing is moving, I'm pretty sure everything's jammed up, which means there's probably some wire to spare. Wait, can I put the assembler up here? I mean, I don't see why not.
Really?
Right?
If you're thinking about it, the fact that things haven't broken sooner is probably the most surprising thing.
The answer is yes.
The fact that everything's been running as smooth as it has
cabling and what I assume
wilds
are
me
some
out.
sweet video cards. So we just need to run these things all the way over to where that one thing was. Since you're giving me so much sass nature, how about a little conveyor belt spaghetti for you to look at? You know, I'm thinking about changing.
Hey, maybe nature wouldn't be getting so sassy at you if you weren't literally doubling the mass of the planet with how unnecessary your conveyor belts are. The planet's core density has risen with the level of unnecessary conveyor belts.
Changing my signature to this. Just nothing but loops until I'm politely asked to stop signing my name. Oh look, there it comes now. My first computer, covered in toxic gas. Now we just need 150 of these things so we can unlock the rest of those tiers. That won't take a million years. So while that thing is making the rest of the computers, let's go back to home base and unlock.
I want this to be the world's biggest ARG. I want, by the final episode, for this to have all been a massive joke. Like, after every episode's gone by, at the very end of the final episode, he shows a landscape shot of his destructive factory. And then's like, haha, JK, this was a joke. And then turns around, and then there's just a pristine, organized, well-structured factory that he made that was the real factory. That this was all just a big gaslighting procedure.
Awesome. Oh god, I looked at it. You know, it is really pretty, although the fact that the top is kind of a red color from all the barrels going through it makes it look kind of like a warhead.
I mean, my warhead tip would be pretty red and raw if you put so much stuff on it. Wait, what?
Obviously, we're gonna have to start with the jetpack. 3, 2, 1, launch. All right, I assume I have to build this jetpack. Yep, there it is. Well, this is surprisingly easy to build. The only component I don't have on myself right now is rubber. Something tells me, too, we're gonna be using this fuel, so we'll pick up some of that, too. Just gotta smack this thing 30 whole times. Get it on my person ASAP. Do I just hold down the button? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Oh, he
I just hold
flies
down
now.
The button and, how does
Great,
it
now
recharge?
he's leveled up.
How does
He
it...
flies.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm sure we all saw that coming. Oh, this is all
Never
too
mind,
much.
he did.
All right, that's gonna be all for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And
I certainly had something Fun would not be the word I would use to describe it. A conniption, yes. An aneurysm, probably. And a midlife crisis, absolutely.
I'll see you next time.
Good God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is another session of LGO watched and absorbed. And now I will have a 3-month-long break to deal with the stroke that I'm about to have, having had watched this. So, for the sake of dealing with my medical station, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.